My guest today is Miss Tatum Bell, a former Marine Corps veteran turned rave content creator. She specializes in music festival fashion and entertainment content, as well as inspiring others to live herself for every day, just like the theme of this podcast. This is her second appearance on the podcast. We have a great conversation about her time in the Marine Corps, as well as getting out and rediscovering herself. I absolutely enjoyed this conversation, and I hope you do too. And we're back.
We're back.
I like that. That was
like we never left.
That's insane. I mean, it's like barely charging it. We'll keep it on.
It's okay.
But
it's fine.
yeah, Apple, this is laptops, whatever. MacBooks need a better battery life. That thing's it's not too old. It's 6 years old, maybe.
Oh, geez. I mean, they do deteriorate pretty badly when new stuff comes out. Which, for real, is that like a conspiracy or is that real? Because I feel like it's real.
No, it was like there's a huge lawsuit.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I semi-hate the world we live in because what do you mean?
Yeah, there was like a confirmation that they were doing that. They had to pay some settlement to the FCC or something.
It's just like so disappointing. It's so disappointing. Anyways, it's okay.
Yeah, I mean,
I'll get over it.
I agree. It's ridiculous. I mean, a lot of the way this corporate stuff is, it's driven profit-wise and stuff like that. Which
Eat the rich.
Takes its own thing. Yeah, their time will come.
The time will come.
I don't know. And it's an interesting world we live in, that's for sure. But anyways, so we were going back. I was telling how that person got mad at me for.
Yeah, that's so crazy, especially because you were like in support of said boundary. It's not like you were mansplaining like if the man wants it, he's gonna get it. Like it's not like it's not like you were on that side, the wrong side, by the way, the wrong side. So I'm glad that you were able to speak your truth, kind of thing. But it's weird that they wanted to censor you about that. That's
I don't know.
Men's America, I guess.
Who's America?
Men's America.
Men's America.
Or a man's America.
Yeah. That's funny. Yeah, I don't know. There's all sorts of crazy stuff.
I'm not a Reddit user. I don't ever want to have to go through the rabbit holes about how everyone just hates everything, and I feel like it's really negative on there. But again, I could be wrong. I've never really been on there, but from what I've seen,
it definitely just depends on like the sub. And funny enough, like I used to never use it, and then like in the last 3 years, I was like always on it.
Really?
Like, all the time. I think I use it probably just as much as like Twitter.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't realize people were on Reddit like that.
I didn't either until I was one of them.
I guess like I've only ever associated like Reddit with like the leaking of private photos and like snark pages. Like I guess I've only ever like heard things about that nature when it comes to Reddit.
Yeah.
I feel like it's like one of those like corners of the internet where it's like you kind of have to like search for some shit if you really want to look at it, but like I just don't care to deep dive into rabbit holes, and I do that. I brain rot on TikTok and Twitter all day. Like I don't need another one to do that on.
Well, like okay, so I sometimes I do scroll, but other times like so you it's very categorized, like, and you have to join the sub to like what you want, to what you want, right? So like for instance, like I have like Nissan Titan because I have a Nissan Titan. I have, and then like when I first got that truck, or when I was actually perfect example is that when I was shopping around for a new vehicle to move out here. I was like, I don't know enough about like these two brands. So I went into their subreddit, joined, and just said, hey, can I get any like first? Because one thing to read reviews online is one thing to get the car dealerships information.
You want like a first-hand experience,
right?
Though.
Exactly.
And Reddit's
you can get that because it's anonymous, so people don't really care, and they'll put in what they want. So for like car shopping, like I went into like Rams 1500, I went into like Titan Reddit, and I was like, hey, give me the pluses and minuses. Like, what's your guys' take on this?
Yeah.
I'm like deciding between these two. And I like even linked like the exact vehicles so I could look at them.
And people hooked you up with some information?
Oh, this is sick.
Nice.
And it was,
all
like,
right, then I totally take it back. I guess Reddit
Yeah.
isn't as bad as I thought it was.
Yeah. And I don't know. It's like and I think I like the anonymity of it because you can also like lend a helping. I mean, I'm not on there to like troll. I mean, there's people that are there to do that. But like I do like don't mind helping others in situations like
That's
you know
nice.
what, when I was going through like my breakup, like there's a breakup subreddit, and
maybe I gotta check that out.
totally admit that like I joined it, and like it was kind of refreshing to know like, oh, I guess I'm not fucking alone.
No, dude, never.
Like, but like you don't think, well,
you don't think about that.
Yeah,
you
like,
don't.
You have your moments where like, and not only that, but like you kind of feel like especially we'll use the breakup example, like you definitely feel like you're a little isolated, or you
Yeah.
feel that like you're being a burden to your family and friends by talking about the situation over and over
Yeah,
again.
I do have an ex of mine that I, for a very, very, unfortunately, very, very long time, continuously talked to beef about. And it got to a point where like I would hear myself talk about it and like get just upset. And I'm like, there's no way that she's receiving any of this information. And honestly, she shouldn't have to, because I'm just word vomiting about how horrible this thing is, where I had to kind of just like internalize it a little bit. And that's no one's fault other than my own. Like, it was just me needing to process things. But like, I definitely wish I had had a bigger of an outlet to kind of get my stuff out. But I'm not gonna lie, I feel like my situation was pretty unique, so I don't even know if there is a subreddit out there for what I had going on.
Then that's the other thing too, is like in of course there is, with specifically that category, there is a little bit of like uniqueness and everything, and like no one really knows the inner dynamics of everything, to be like completely fair, but there is a lot of similarities. Like there are a lot of people going through similar things. Like I don't know, it's just interesting. And then like and then you can. But there's other subreddits besides that. Like again, you can like look. There's an EDM one. There's a Raves one. There's like you can and like I said, it's nice because it's like very personalized to what like your feed is, what you
create it to be. That's nice. Yeah.
Yes.
That's pretty cool.
That. Which I mean, I know they're all kind of like that in a sense, but it's weird to see it like in specific categories. Like I like football and I follow the Bucks on every social. They don't always come through my feed.
Yeah, that's true.
And then
the algorithm does not algo.
Right. And then in Reddit, I can specifically be like, I'm in the Buccaneers sub. And everyone else that's in the Buccaneers sub can post to it, and I can see what they're talking about. So it's that's like, I can get the sentiment for the team is that we're in a good spot, or this guy sucks. Whatever that looks like. Yeah. It's very interesting how that works. Yeah, I don't know. I've become a big user over the years, which is I never saw coming. It was
never saw it coming.
And then I still use Twitter a lot. I haven't even updated it. It's still Twitter on my phone.
Really? Mine is unfortunately X. I have never once called it X in my entire life except for right now. But it automatically updated. And don't get me wrong, I created a blue sky, but like just my squirrel pea brain, just like I'm automatically clicking Twitter. I can't get myself to go to blue sky. Like, I think what should have been my biggest push to really be on blue sky is the fact that Subtronics like only ever tweets or blue skies on blue sky now. I don't know what the blue sky posts are called, but he's never on Twitter anymore because low-key fuck Twitter. Anyways, but he's on blue sky and I'm missing out on my Jesse tweets because I can't make the change just yet. My brain just won't let me do it.
Yeah, I was on Blue Sky for like all of like 2 days.
Yeah, I couldn't do it. Yeah. And the thing is, I work in social media just past like me being a content creator. And every time we're kind of getting the lay of the land of what socials we're working on, my first question is, are we posting on Blue Sky or Threads? Because I don't want to have to do that. And usually the answer is no, thank God. But
yeah, Threads is a weird one too, because like
on it for 2 seconds.
Same thing. And then like I had someone send me a thread the other day, and you know where it went? It went to my Instagram inbox.
See, that's
and then you click the thread and it switches you over to Threads. And I'm like, what?
I don't want to do that.
I don't want 3 apps. Yeah. And Meta, like somehow Meta like doesn't. I mean, obviously we use them because we kind of have to. Yeah. But like they somehow like they just do not get like the cohesiveness, and like they just don't flow. Like none of them flow well together.
No.
Like, even the connectivity between Instagram and Facebook, like. Why if I do that are my metrics down on Facebook now? Like, how is that a bug?
I don't ever understand how they're always coming out with these new features to help creators when it's like you are constantly pushing us down. Like, I'm not understanding. Like, we are not. I mean, I very lightly say we to include myself, but like if we are the forefront of your platform of what's bringing people onto it, why would you want to shadow ban us? Why would you want to not show what we got going on? Like, so I have a love-hate relationship with all social media platforms, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, the only one that really took care of creators was TikTok. In a sense, like as just like I'm putting that as like a content creation platform first, and like
I love creating on TikTok. It's honestly I say this and people make fun of me, but I exclusively edit on TikTok, which if that sells you anything, like I'm not very savvy when it comes to stuff like that, but TikTok has made it so easy for me. It's made it so easy for me to create a community. And like, I'm not going to lie, I was one of those bitches that posted a crying goodbye TikTok video when it went away a little bit ago.
For 2 days.
Not even for like 12 hours. I read a book. That was how like, all right, I guess no more internet for me. And I just I opened up Drew File, it was loud, and I read that for like a couple hours, and then it came back.
Don't say the big orange guy didn't do nothing. Oh my God.
Listen,
I'm just being funny. That's a joke. That's a chill.
Don't even get me started.
I agree with the seamlessness of TikTok. I use it mainly to edit too. I just recently, although it still got banned, I just recently started to use CapCut.
Yeah.
And it was, oh my God, was it so easy? Like, and I mean, I even used it for like long form video, and it was just so easy and seamless in comparison to like these other platforms I've used or seen. So it's just very weird.
I feel like my biggest issue is that I exclusively record in TikTok as well. So that's why I do all of my editing there. My phone at any given time has like 1 point of storage. Like I just never have enough room to do anything. And like TikTok really helps me out where I can just record directly there, post it, and I don't have to worry about it. And I've definitely gotten very complacent in its simplicity. And if I want to up my content creator game up, I probably should get on things like CapCut and InShot and things like that. But I'm pretty comfy on TikTok.
InShot, yeah, I know some people that do, and they say it's pretty good.
I've heard it's just very similar to CapCut, like very, very similar.
Yeah, CapCut was extremely similar to TikTok.
I just unfortunately don't have it on my phone, and I can't download it now because of the ban.
Right, I had it,
but like,
and mine can't. I have to like update it, but it won't.
I've seen people updating their CapCut and updating their TikTok, and because it's like updating, but because it's not in the app store, it'll update it and then it'll immediately kick you out and you can't get back in.
Yeah. Well,
so definitely don't update anything.
No, I had it where like I had my phone set to where like an app that's not being used, like after like a X amount of days
it'll take it away. Yeah.
And it's in the cloud and you can click it down. So like I had that happen where it was, because I stopped editing and making content, it would like just went to the cloud and now I can't read it. So anyways, I have it on my work computer, thank God. I got that in 2 days before. And then do you see did you get the notification with Instagram and they're launching their own editing software now?
No, I did not know that.
It's they're calling it Edits.
It better be easy.
And it's supposed to be, I mean, yeah, ideally I think it's supposed to be like a Reels platform where you can edit, like it's their CapCut competitor essentially.
Nice. Okay.
So we'll see if it comes. It's supposed to come out either late February, early March.
Yeah, so I hadn't heard anything about this, to be honest. But I'm also not looking for information like that, I guess, unless it comes across my feed, unless it comes across from a friend. Like I'm never looking at stuff that.
It like they notified us in Instagram.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Like I opened the app and it was like, you should try our editing app. And I was like, what is this? So I clicked it. It took me to the app store and I was like, you can add yourself to the wait lists. And I'm like, okay. So that's all it did was add me to the wait list.
Instagram has been chapping my khakis for the past like 6 months because they have come out with like, you know how you can now add like a little note to somebody's post in the bottom right corner.
But yes.
I've never used it. It's a new feature that still currently has like a new banner on it. I've had it for 6 months, and every time I open the app, it likes to ask me, do you want to leave a note on someone's post? And then the only thing you can do is either make the note or say not now. And no, I don't want to make a note on somebody's post. Like I'm okay not to do that. But because it hasn't registered that I've made a note, it keeps asking if I want to do it. And then it's there, it's in stories. I'll go to post a story. Another pop-up will come up. Do you want to use this new story thingy? No, I don't want to use this new story thingy. But because I haven't used it, it keeps asking me. And I refuse to back down and use it because I don't want to be forced to do something I don't want to do. But Instagram just keeps giving me these pop-ups that I don't want to see anymore. It's not a new feature anymore. I don't care to use it. I think it's stupid.
Yes, and then exit out of it. And it thinks you did it.
But it doesn't think I do it. Because I will sit there and I'll say yes, and then I'll get out of the app. And I think I just need to do it. And then erase it.
Exit out of the function. So go into notes.
Oh no,
it keeps. But don't exit out of the app.
It keeps popping up. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what I push. It keeps popping up, and it makes me like scream every time it pops up. And it's just like, why are you actively wanting to make me leave this app? Like,
yeah, you're in a glitch right now.
I hate it forever. Same thing with my drafts. If I upload a draft, I'll take 15 minutes, selecting the order of the photos. I'll write a really nice caption, tag everyone, put a really nice song. I'll draft it, go back the next day, go to post. This post won't load, blah blah blah, and it won't post. So then I have to spend more time doing it again, and I'm already so frustrated because I spent so much time doing like the intricate details of the first post I didn't want to post. Then I do the second one, and I just don't care anymore. So then my post looks like shit because I don't care.
Yeah, I had one that double posted, like a draft that double posted, and then you're like,
what do we do now?
How's that even possible? Yeah, like, and it happened at work, and they were like, why is this post up twice? And I'm like, I don't actually have
no idea.
I have no idea. I only clicked it once. And then they're like, sure you did. I'm like, yeah.
Why would I lie about that?
Yeah, literally. Why?
Why would I want to do a bad job right now?
Like, luckily the other girl's like, no, that happens sometimes.
She had your back. She had your
I
back.
know it does. It's fucking great. Makes no sense. Yeah, platforms and stuff. YouTube is
Scary.
scary. YouTube's scary.
When TikTok went away, I made a YouTube account. I told myself I was going to do it, and I looked at like the camera thing so I could create, and I immediately got over it. And I'm comfortable on TikTok. I'm such an old lady. I don't want to leave. I don't want to do anything else.
Yeah,
I don't know. Just can't do it.
Boomer somehow.
I am.
TikTok maximalist. Are you part of the CCP over there? Chinese.
Listen, I'm simple. The app is simple.
She got a Yahweh phone.
I don't want to change anything up. I'm complacent in where I'm at, okay?
No, I get it. One of my favorite comedians had a bit like that where he was like, if you're really, really against this TikTok ban, you should be wearing a CCP shirt and cussing at your parents in Mandarin. And I was like, yo, that's so funny.
Chill.
That's so funny. I would butcher that joke. It's a good joke.
You tried.
That's
You
the
did.
basis of it. Just yell at your parents in Mandarin that you're mad. It's impressive to learn that. That's a
Mandarin's
very
hard.
Intricate language.
I could not even attempt. More power to those that can. Like, seriously, I think it's a beautiful language, but I'm too simple for that.
Yeah.
More power to you guys.
Yeah. Have you ever tried to learn any language?
I've tried learning Spanish, but I kind of got in a little pickle where the school I was going to, I was living in Ohio at the time. Okay. Quite literally for like half of the school year, we had a substitute teacher that would just play like El Dorado every day. Like, we literally did not learn anything. The school gave us all C's on our finals. Like, it was a really bad situation. And I think I only took like year one when I was there. So when it came down to me moving back to Florida so I could do Spanish too, I said, hey, I need to do Spanish 1 again. Like, I did not learn anything, but because I technically had a C on my final, they would not let me retake it. So I joined Spanish 2 and was just lost the entire time. But because my teacher knew what was going on, she just felt bad, gave me a C just so I could like graduate. So I never ever really learned Spanish, but I tried hard. I just never got like the basic fundamentals, and like I probably could have done more, but like I was a high school senior just trying to get the fuck out of town, like right. I was not worried about learning Spanish at the time. I was worried about making sure I was in shape enough for the Marine Corps. Hoorah. But that was about it for me.
I always forget that you were in the Marine Corps.
I also forget that. I forget it all the time. I just now remembered, so I can make that joke.
Can we dive into that a little bit?
Yeah, for sure.
How long are you in the Marines?
I did my full 4 years. I joined in 2017. So I had actually graduated high school like early May, whenever the time frame is, turned 18 July 2nd, and then shipped off to boot camp July 22nd. So it was high school graduation, turn 18, shipped off to boot camp.
What was the thought of going in?
If
you don't mind.
No, I'm very much so an open book about this, just because I want this information to be out there for people who are thinking about it. I will be very honest. My experience was probably more negative than it was positive. It's not something that I would ever do again, but it's also not something that I regret doing. I decided to join because college at the time just didn't seem like it was right for me. I struggled in school. I did. Yeah. I didn't have the money to go to college. I really, the idea of like student loans and credit card bills, that scares the shit out of me. So I just stay very far away from it. And I knew that if I went to college, that was going to cost a pretty penny. And I'll also be honest about this too. At the time, me and my mom just didn't have the relationship we have now. She's my best friend in the whole wide world. I love her to death. But back then it was, I'm getting the fuck out of this house. I'm never coming back. Like, it was just, It wasn't the most amazing situation. And yeah, I just knew I needed to leave. And I had taken a couple of years of JROTC in high school and middle school, I guess. I guess I was in ROTC for a little bit. But I never thought about it as being something that I was going to do long term. It was just kind of like, oh, extracurricular. It's something I can do. That's fine. And then when it came down to everyone talking about their SAT scores and what colleges they were going to, I was like, brother, I have no idea. And this is when we're juniors, by the way, of them figuring this shit out. And I'm like, y'all are doing that? Like, I didn't know I should be doing that. So when it finally came down to me entering my senior year, I knew I needed to make a decision, like what I was going to do. And by the time I entered it, I had already known that I was going to join some military service. And I was going to join the Navy. I was pretty set in the Navy. I had went to the recruiter's office. Like I was a done deal. We had a handshake. Like, it was going to happen. I was going to come back later on to sign paperwork. And I had posted that I was excited about the Navy. And a friend of mine said, hey, check out the Marine Corps office. Like, why not? Just try it. And I was like, I'm not joining the fucking Marine Corps. Like, what do I look like joining the world's greatest fighting force? Like, that's not me, girl. So I was like, you know what? Like,
let me
just fucking. So I was like, you know what? Like, it can't hurt. You know, who cares? So I go to the office. I walk in, and I think I walked out like 5 hours later. Like, we just sat and we just talked, and just feeling as hurt as I had was awesome, which is kind of ironic, just considering the rest of my experience where I never heard her ever again. But yeah, no, it was definitely a very life-changing experience. It's the reason why I'm able to live the life that I do now. But yeah, no, it was an adventure. It was a lot for sure.
Where were you? Were you ever deployed?
I was never deployed. No, not technically, at least. So boot camp is in. No, I fucking wish. No, so boot camp's in South Carolina. And I was stationed in North Carolina the majority of the time. I got to go to New York on Fleet Week. I got to ride on the USS New York. It's a big old battleship that's made out of actually the remaining pieces of the World Trade Center and like the 9/11 very horrific thing. Shit, I'm blanking on whatever everything's called, but I'm so not patriotic right now. It's fine. But yeah, it's actually a pretty cool ship, and I got to ride that up the coast to New York. Got to spend a full week there for Fleet Week. It was an amazing experience. That was probably one of the highlights. And I also got to go on an exercise to Norway for 2 months. Which sounds awesome, except I worked like 15 to 18 hour days every single day for 2 months up in the freaking Norwegian mountains. Like it was a very cool experience, but like it was work. It was hard. It was cold. It was work. And the most disappointing part about this is when I got home, something had gone wrong with my phone, and I had lost like all of my information from the past 3 months, which was when I had been on this trip. And like the only thing that I could like hold on to it in a positive way was like the photos I took and the memories, and gone. Yeah. So it was just like, all right.
I've had that happen too. Yeah. Not to that extent. Not that I was in the military, but yes.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, cool.
So annoyed at
like one of the 2 highlights of my career gone. It's fine.
What were you doing in the Marine?
So I was an 0411 maintenance management specialist, which essentially just meant that I oversaw the how do I want to say it? There's a threshold that each unit needs to uphold when it comes to their gear and their personnel, and I needed to make sure that they were above that threshold. I would collect all of their information, and then I would present it to my gunnery sergeant, who would then present it to our lieutenant colonel. I think that's who he was. Honestly, it's been so long. It's been so long. I'm gonna get some veterans and they're listening to this. They're like, this dumb bitch. And honestly, yeah, I don't remember any of that shit, to be honest. Yeah. But aside from me doing that literally once a week, my actual job, I was what I considered to be the green side FRO. The FRO is your family readiness officer, and typically that role is overseen by a civilian, and what they do is they just help plan like family days and single Marine program things, which is just like fun little activations around base, and they just kind of help with like just things that you don't necessarily need a Marine to do, like I guess kind of like the more fun stuff. So because I had so much free time and I'm a very people-y person, yapper, I kind of took on that role. There was quite some time where other units knew that because I'm a professional yapper, that they would request me to come speak at like their corporal's courses graduations, or like if somebody was retiring, I would speak at their ceremonies, or anytime we had any sort of something and they needed a speaker, that was kind of the role that I got to play. Nice. And I got to do that all across base. So it was really cool. I had a fun experience with that. But as far as my job, I never actually got to do it. And aside from a few other reasons, which I can totally go into as well. Just because I didn't really know my job, I knew it was going to be extremely unfair if I were to have continued on in my service and enlisted for another year and gone to another unit where now I'm a sergeant in my field and I know nothing. Mm-hmm. So I was like, this is not something I want to put myself into. This is not something I want to put other Marines into. Like, because at the end of the day, like, I can kind of hee hee ha ha about what my job is, but at the end of the day, like, it is a serious one. Every job in the Marine Corps is a serious one. Right. It can lead to, you know, a success or a fail. And like, I never wanted to contribute to anyone failing, kind of thing. So I took my leave and I got the fuck out of there.
Yeah. What is something that you maybe took away from the Marine Corps that you kind of have carried into your now civilian style life and how you operate?
I've always been really big on being your true authentic self. And that was even before I kind of got into the Marine Corps. But when you're in the Marine Corps and you're in boot camp, they tell you that they are going to break you down as an individual because they want to build you up as a Marine. So in that process, I lost every bit of myself. I did. And I kept on to, you know, a little bit of it the longer I was in the Marine Corps, because you're conditioned to think a certain way, to act a certain way.
Of course.
And I lost who I was. And, you know, the longer I stayed in, the more I was like, all right, this is not who I am. And then I kind of built myself back up. And once I got out, I did everything that I could that was against every Marine Corps rule, because I just needed to gain back like my own like self-control, my own like just being aware of who I am kind of thing. And like, I think the Marine Corps, because it took that away from me, it's almost now pushed me even further into just being who you are, to be your true authentic self and to allow nobody to ever tell you not to be. Right. Like, I think that's one of the biggest things, to be honest. Yeah.
It's interesting how they, I mean, it makes sense why they do it.
Oh, for sure. I understand.
Right.
Trust me.
Yeah. I didn't think you.
Yeah, no, it's more of like, I understand that every Marine does have a mission, and it's like, unless you're able to think in the mindset that they want you to think in, that mission's not going to get done.
Correct.
So it's like, I fully understand, and I'm very hesitant to say I respect it, because like, I can respect somebody that is able to turn themselves off and turn on what it is that they need to be in that situation. But it's like, if you can't turn that back off to be who you are, like you're a lost soul. And that's what scares me. I was afraid of never finding myself again.
Right. I was about to say, do you wonder if that's like a very big problem in relation to maybe PTSD in a sense, because you kind of, not only are you going through the traumas of war, but you also have like this identity crisis of like, I don't know who I am. And also I'm having panic attacks of who I was.
Yes.
That's very interesting. I wonder if that, maybe I'm opening up a new field of stuff.
Maybe you are.
Ooh. Scientist Jacob over here. Yeah, that's very interesting though. That, and fuck, I had a question. It's gone.
You're good.
I don't
after
know
the break.
Yeah, I don't think it's coming back. Anyways, we're gonna pivot off of that. So and then in doing in now living yourself, truly yourself, what was that process like? Because I've always interested in that, and I think that's something I'm interested in more so now, because I feel like I'm going through a lot of that now. Again, I think you kind of go through phases of that throughout life, for the record, but I think I'm in that phase right now where I'm like, I don't really know. You
don't really know what's going on.
What's going on?
I will say it was a lot of trial and error. Yeah. It was a lot of, and I'm glad that I've reflected and seen this. It was a lot of me attaching myself to people in my life and just mirroring the shit out of them, because I was so lost, and I would have these amazing friends, and I'm like, well, I love the person that you are. Like, maybe that's what I want to be. Like, maybe I want to be the kind of person that you are. And ultimately, it took me taking things from other people and trying it on myself, and then just being like, this doesn't fit right, but like, it feels good enough. Like, I guess we'll write it out. And then it got to a point where I was just like, this is like, I look at myself in the mirror literally and be like, this is not me. Yeah. Like, nothing about what I have going on right now is me. I want nothing to do with it anymore. Yeah. So it was just a lot of like, I had to be extremely uncomfortable to get to a very comfortable place where I am now. Like, and I pride myself in that, because there was a really long time where I was not comfortable in the skin that I lived in for a very, 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 very long time. So it's like, now having that is like my biggest accomplishment, to be honest. And I implore everyone to get to that point. I hope and wish that everyone can be as comfortable as I am, because it's the most relaxing and awesome feeling in the world. Yeah.
I agree with that. Did you ever have like an analysis paralysis at all?
No, I don't even know what that is, to be honest.
It's like where you're kind of like you're overthinking, but in a sense of like you're analyzing. Well, like, okay, for instance, I'll make it super simple, but like everyone can kind of relate to, like high school. You weren't sure what you wanted to do, and you could have a moment where you've got like, your mom says to do one thing, your brother says to do another thing, your friends are saying do this, you're thinking this, but then you're also thinking about this other thing, and then now you've got 5 options where you normally used to have 2,
and you're just like, what the fuck do I do?
Which one do I do? And then you're thinking about them all the time, and you're not doing any of them. Yes. And you're analyzing it, you're not doing.
No, that definitely happens a lot for me.
Yes. But when I find that when you have kind of lost yourself, you can get into that easier. Yes. Because you're like, well, what if I like this and this and this?
If you have no idea.
And then you can just like end up doom scrolling and sitting on your couch for 8 hours
ever
doing nothing, and then you feel even worse because you're like, fuck, I did nothing today.
Yeah.
And it's like a weird thing that we can, as humans, can get like very sucked into. And I mean, I've had moments too like that, and I think everyone does. But I was just curious if you had moments like that during that time of being like self-lost, when it was like trying to discover yourself.
I'm not gonna lie, I feel like I've have it more as someone that is comfortable versus when I wasn't comfortable, mainly because like I didn't like allow myself to have as many options because I didn't know. Like I wasn't putting myself forward to have options.
Right,
It was just, I'm gonna stay at home. Okay, nothing is wrong with this first part, but like it's either gonna be me staying at home working a menial job under the roof of my mom, who I'm not having the most amazing relationship with, and like I could have just been stuck, or I could have left.
Right.
Those were my only two options. At least to what I thought were my only two options at the time. So the Marine Corps just sounded a whole hell of a lot easier to me for whatever reason than just sticking through it and seeing what I could accomplish. So again, I'm proud of myself for being able to do that, because it wasn't just like I thought I was going to do this and then I went and did it. I trained for like a year. Like I left like 135 lean and like a muscly machine. I was pumping out pull-ups, pumping out push-ups. Like I was jacked, like seriously. And now I can barely walk up a hill without getting winded, kind of thing. But I didn't feel that because I didn't allow myself to. I didn't allow myself to grow, in a sense, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say you didn't grow. I would
at
say,
the time, yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, sometimes like it's interesting because I think our lives in human beings in general, like it's very complex, and like there are times where you do have to just stick your head down and do something.
Exactly.
Do the shit.
That's me for 4 years.
yeah, and then you might come out of it and like then you can start to think about things. But like, sometimes you gotta make that sacrifice for yourself to get to a different place. Like I don't this idea of like there is no sacrifice without, like, that's such bullshit.
Oh yeah, there is sacrifice in everything that we do.
Right.
I mean, I legitimately sacrificed my mental health for 4 years in order for me to have come out of it. I say secure, while knowing that it could at any day be taken away from me. But one of the things that I got out of the Marine Corps was because of what had happened when I was in, they now owe me money for the rest of my life. I'm now on Marine Corps disability because of just how fucked up I kind of got at one point. And with that also comes healthcare. So it's like, I had to suffer for as long as I did, and now I get like a little goodie bag on my way out, and it's like I'm grateful to have that, but at the same time I have to think about it like, damn, like was that worth it? Like, am I in a sense kind of being bought now? And like that was a really big thing I had to think about for a while of like, do I accept this? Like, not that it's hush money or anything, but it's like, it's, hey, sorry this happened to you. You can pay your rent this month, kind of thing. Like that's like what that looks like to me. Yeah.
No, that makes sense. I definitely didn't think about it like that.
No, it's okay. It's just, and again, like this is something that I have talked about very publicly before. And it's something that I want people to know about, because I don't want anybody to go in the way that I did, where I had, the most amazing recruiter. Like I felt connected to him. I still definitely do. I'm so grateful for him to have set me on the path that I got onto. But like, there's definitely some information out there that I wish I had had.
Same time, fuck you.
But at the same time, fuck you, brother. and he knows it. Like that's part of the job. Like anytime any of us get back from boot camp, the first thing we do is say, hey, I know I wear a rank now, but kind of go fuck yourself. Love you, bro. That's just what happens. And again, I'm very grateful for everyone that helped me along my journey. But sometimes I'm like, fuck, it was a journey. And now I think about it every single day of my life. Like in my kitchen, I have a framed photo of my boot camp photo, and it's little old baby me, super baby faced. I'm super just tan. My eyebrows are crazy. I've got super short hair, and like I look at that photo. It's crazy. And I look at this photo and I smile at it because I'm like, damn, like I did it. And then I think about it and then I break down, because it's something that I want to be so happy and proud about. And then once I fully think about it, I think about just how bad it was and how it just wasn't a good time. And then I'm just like, damn, like this is something that I can't even fully be proud of, because it's just like, it just wasn't the best experience, and it sucks. It sucks.
Let's unpack that, because
we can unpack.
Why do you feel like you can't be proud of it if it's gotten to you where you're at now? Like you're so proud of your life now. Like
I don't
if you
know.
didn't go through those things. Like
trust me, I hear the irony. I do.
Yeah. Like it, because I there's definitely a way of thinking where like when you're in the storm, you can't see a way out.
Yeah.
and you're not in the storm anymore. Which, and usually when
I'm
people,
free and clear of it for
right.
multiple years.
And usually when people get back, or I'm sorry, not back, but when people are out of it and after some time, kind of look back and you're like, oh, that, I guess it kind of made sense now. And so, but you haven't had clarity.
I think I've had clarity in the fact of like, we all go through things that make us who we are today. And like, I'm proud of the person that I am. And not necessarily that I'm not proud of my actions in the past, because it has nothing to do with my actions. You know what I mean? Like I kept my head held high and like I did what I needed to do, and still got shit on, kind of thing. But
you just wish you could have learned the lesson another way.
Yeah. I wish, exactly. I wish that I could have grown to this person that I am today through literally any other way, kind of thing. But at the same time, like, I guess maybe I misspoke when I said that I'm not really proud of it, because like it's a very scary thing that people do to just join, to even think about joining, to try. It's a very scary process. It fucking is. Like I will never take it away from myself or for anyone that put their mind to it and fucking did it. Because at the end of the day, that's what I did. I had a goal and I fucking crushed it. Like I did, and I'm proud of that. I guess what it is, it's just like, because I have such negative feelings attached to it, like I can't sit there and think happy thoughts, because I just get sad. That sucks, you know. Like I can't take away the bad from the good, and even as much as I want the good to overpower the bad, it's just fucking there, and I wish it wasn't, kind of thing. But it's just one of those things that like I've kind of had to like really deep dive and compartmentalize in myself. And like, I mean, I've tried therapy. I have, you know, we have resources that do allow veterans to get the help that they need, even though it's not as amazing as it should be. And it's just like, it's just one of those things where I don't think I'll ever be able to really get it out of my brain the way I want it to, because it's just so stuck and deep within me, kind of thing.
Yeah, that's interesting. I have to have you talk to the breathwork guy.
I should talk to the breathwork guy.
Might be like a 45-minute session, you'll be healed.
I'm not gonna lie though, like anytime I've gone to like a light code set or anything, or I've tried meditating, yoga, like I feel like this, as loud and a active person as I am, like sometimes it kind of hurts. I feel like that's so weird to say, but like unless I'm like fully in the mindset to relieve my body of everything, like mind, body, and soul, like there's almost a part of me that just like, I gotta move. I gotta yap, and I can't sit still for that long. And I feel like that also kind of like isn't helping when I need to just chill out sometimes.
That's like a little bit of the anxiety that comes with the past trauma in some sense or another, whatever that might be. No, it's that's interesting, because I get that, and we're very resilient as humans, and we very much like you just said, like that instinct of like, I can't sit still, I can't move. It's like your brain's being like, no, we need to not go down that road. We need to protect
I need you to chill the fuck out.
For real, and like, don't get me wrong, like I've pushed things. I'm not saying you're pushing things away, for the record, but I mean, like,
I'm pushing shit down for sure.
Okay, so
I don't want to think on it.
It's out there. But like, I've done that, and I can relate to that. Obviously, not in the same light to the same circumstance, but definitely done that. And it's a weird thing, because I can't remember, like 2-3 years ago being like so like, I know I need to do something, but like just am so scared to do it. And so, you know,
that's me all the time.
Hey, instead of like sitting here in bed thinking about it,
let me just do it.
Just put YouTube on and watch a podcast. Or like, I'm having I remember saying like, oh, I'm just having a bad day, and like I knew exactly what was on the front of my mind, and I would just be like, nah, I think I'm just gonna listen to like 3 podcasts.
No,
like,
I needed to be in the back.
I just need to go to the gym, and I just need to like, get my favorite food to cheer me up, get some comfort.
Treat yourself.
Yeah, and then like the bad day might last a day, or might last a little bit into the next day. Maybe it goes to 2 days, and then it goes away, and you're like, oh, I beat it.
Yeah.
But then like a couple months go by. Check on right back.
Sneaks on back.
Sneaks right back. Sneaks fucking right back. And that's something I had to work through a lot, and like really put my mind into it. And it was, I will be so honest, it was definitely not easy to fucking eventually be like, hey, I need to say this thing.
I need this to be out of my body.
But let me fucking tell you, the goddamn relief I had. I remember, it's so funny too. I think it's so funny how we as people work in our brains and stuff. Like I remember thinking the weeks leading up to me of like wanting to talk about the problem. And I was like, I'm going to talk about this problem and like, it's going to go this way and I'm going to feel free from it going this way. And then when I let it out, it was it was like the exact opposite direction I thought. And I was like, oh no, wait, no, this isn't what I had planned. And then it was like,
this isn't the way I rehearsed the conversation in the shower.
Literally. It was like, so now that it wasn't even actually, it wasn't even like the reaction of the person I was talking to, but it was my internal reaction that was way different than I thought it would be.
Really?
Yes. That's what was so bizarre.
But was the reaction you got the one that you thought it was going to be, like from the person?
No, I would have to ponder that. But I just remember thinking like, I'm going to feel a certain way after this.
Yeah.
And I think that probably was my brain being like, yeah, man, we'll be great. That's it. And then like when it happened,
you're like,
actually, you're going to feel the exact opposite of what she thought.
Yeah.
And it was still a freeing moment because I was like, oh shit, I haven't had this in a while. But it was weird.
It's the weight of what you,
the weight was gone.
Yeah. Yeah. The weight's gone, but now it's like, all right, but why do I still feel so heavy?
Yeah. I mean, a little bit of that, but also it was like, I also think when you try to turn a chapter in life that life, the universe, God, whatever you believe in, it kind of tests you like, okay, so you did the thing, but like, how bad do you really want it? Because like, you can just go back to like yourself.
Yeah.
Or are you going to go into that light of that higher self that you want to be in? And so like admitting what I had admitted and feeling that relief was great. Felt great for like a week. And then that's when the other thoughts came in.
Yeah, scary.
Like, and I was like, oh shit, this isn't over yet.
This is not what I planned.
And I'm like, all right, well, if I'm going to be living in this new life, I got to man up and fucking do the thing and say the rest of the bullshit. That's now,
you have to get all of it out.
Resurfacing.
Got to get all of it out.
And that was definitely even a challenge too, I remember. But it was interesting. I don't remember how we got on that tangent.
It's okay.
We're on that,
We're flowing.
Sorry, that was but like you we were talking about like distractions and how you I mean, even nowadays, it's not like it still goes away. Like, but I will say that's something I'm trying to practice more is being more present with myself, not necessarily in a meditative state, but like just like small things. Cause like literally actually was talking about this with the breathwork guy. Actually, it's funny, but like the phone is so apparent and everywhere and
it's so accessible
and we can have
too
it
accessible.
In the shower, we can listen to like I said, like I used to I'm supposed to do a podcast, why be in the shower alone with my thoughts when I can just put the podcast on
exactly
and think about that
and tune the fuck out.
And like that. And don't get me wrong, sometimes I love just being able to relax and listen to a mindless comedy podcast. But sometimes I'm using it as a distraction. And I'm aware of that now. I wasn't aware of that a year ago.
If I am left alone with my thoughts for too long, scary. Yeah. I need sound.
Yeah. But the real superpower is being able to do that and accepting those and working through those, which is hard. One of my favorite, I guess, philosopher, investor guys, whatever you want to call him. His name's Naval Ravikant. I will gladly send you this podcast with him. It's one of my favorite podcasts to date. I think it's the only one I have saved on my phone, but I've listened to it probably 100 times.
Nice.
Because it's just, and every time I listen to it, I get something new from it. And it's so, matter of fact, I'm thinking about it right now. I'm gonna have to re-listen to it again. I haven't listened to it in a while, but like there's so much just amazing information with this about being happy and living in investing and stuff like that, just all different things. He touches on a lot of life. It's like a 3-hour podcast. It's
a listen.
It's a listen. And I mean, that doesn't mean you have to listen to it all at once either. But one of the things he talks about was like with meditation, how like at first he's like, well, something people don't talk about. It's like you very much are like having 1,000 thoughts come in your head, and it's very difficult to get into a meditative state or even meditate at all at first, because of like what you just said. Like I start sitting alone, like all these thoughts. I'm like, oh my God, I pushed that kid over in 3rd grade and I still feel bad about it.
Or
I
like
everything.
constantly think about shit like that.
It's from your first memories. It's like it literally is like all that stuff.
Yeah.
And his example, which made so much sense to me when I heard it, was your mind is like a email inbox.
Oh gosh.
And it can be cluttered and have tons of messages. And just like you can let your inbox have 10,000 unread messages, your mind is like that too. Yeah. And so when you start to meditate, what's happening is the inbox is open and it's just flooding everything in, because you haven't shuffled through it. You haven't deleted. You haven't moved things to junk. You haven't done that. You haven't made it to zero.
Yeah.
But one day
you will
eventually get to zero. And then your meditative state is you might think about the 3 or 4 things that happened that day. And then you go into that meditative state. And I was like, oh my God, that makes so much sense. Like you're just having to shuffle, you're having to just work through stuff in your mind. And we can so easily, especially more and more now with the phone being accessible, it's like we can just be like, you know what, I don't want to think about that right now.
Yeah.
I'm just going to fucking
you can just look at anything else.
Whereas like the opposite is like, and it is, I'm not like talking down about it, for the record. It is so fucking hard to just sit there and be like, this is a lot of stuff. And or like whatever worst thing comes to mind where you're like, oh, fuck, now I'm sad. Like it's fucking not easy.
No, it is not.
So I'm not going to sit here and say and act like I'm holier than thou. I'm not. But what I am trying to do nowadays is just small things here and there, like not bring the phone to, and like whatever happens. Like, I'm going to go to the shower now, and I'm not going to
have my phone
podcast every time. I'm going to do a couple showers without it. And maybe those showers will be quicker, and I'll get out
true.
and get my phone.
And get it faster.
But at least I worked through something. Or like a couple things I've been doing, which is so like psycho, people will say. I know it. I know.
I can't wait to hear this.
But like the mornings are the weird ones for me now recently. Like something that as the day goes on, I'm usually pretty good. But like the morning, I have like a ton of thoughts that come in. Yeah. And so one, like not picking up the phone in the morning and doom scrolling right away. That should just help you, I think, in general, like get in a better mindset. But 2, it's like get natural light as quick as I can. So blinds open right away, up, like just light. 3, I've done this on occasion where like I get in the car and I just don't fucking put anything on.
That's scary. That is the psychopath one.
See, that's what I'm talking about.
Everything else you said, I was like, yeah, no, that totally makes sense. The phone or the car and the thing, no.
I know that.
I need noise.
I'm like in the car and I'm driving and I'm just like looking at the mountains and I'm like, this is beautiful. And then I'm thinking like, the thoughts that I woke up with are there, but I'm just kind of like shuffling through them. By the time I get to work, I fucking pull out my journal. I journal about them. Ooh. Gratitude gone. And like, it's just like, but it's like I don't do that every day, but it's happened. And sometimes I don't even notice it though. I'm like driving and I'm like, oh, damn, I'm already here.
Yeah. Like what happened? I
didn't put any music on. Well, that's another thing that's happened too. But yeah, it's just, I don't know. That's like, I know it's a weird thing to do, but I've like done it recently here and there where I'm like, I'm just not going to have the phone on. Like
you're a better person than I am. I'm not going to lie. I need some sort of stimulation at all times. I'm not going to lie, but I have to run it back to your mailbox thing, your inbox notifications. Cause I need to out myself in the fact that I currently on my Yahoo Mail have 36,238 unread emails.
That's an insane amount.
And then on my Gmail, I have 1,921. So the entire time you were talking about, your brain is your mailbox and you'll have to go through them. My brain was panicking, on fire, SpongeBob meme running around with all the papers running around. Like that is what I was thinking about the entire time.
Do you use the Yahoo for spam? Is that what you use it for? I just haven't used it in forever.
No, that is my Yahoo email is like my Tatum email, and I've had it since I was like 12. Okay. So it's just a lot of junk and bullshit and like I think honestly where it started was in boot camp. I was gone for 3 months, no phone. I had every single email come in ever, and then by the time I got out of boot camp and I saw it, I was like, I'm not dealing with this. Like, what does this mean? And I literally have never gone back to like do anything about it. I probably should just create a new, just regular Tatum email, but like that's. I'd rather just not.
Yeah. That's how I feel about socials now. Like I stopped and now I'm like, I don't know if I'll ever go back.
Oh no. I will say like I'm very, very grateful that I was able to build the platform that I have, the community that I have. Like I'm so grateful for my T-Bell bitches. Seriously, shout out you guys. I would not be here if it wasn't for them. Point blank period. And I definitely do have those days where I'm like, damn, like I really wish I could just not. And then I remember that like, and this is not big-headed of me, I promise, if I got to pull up receipts, I will. But like the messages that I receive from some of these people that are just like, seeing you speak about this inspired me to do this. Seeing you post about this made me feel better about this. Mm-hmm. And like, I'm going to say this in the most loving way I can. Sometimes it's a little bit of a double-edged sword because I see these comments and I'm like, damn, what if I stop posting and this person gets real sad? And that's not me trying to be big-headed about myself. That's just like something I have to think about as someone that is in the public eye and does have people that likes to see what I have going on. And then sometimes there are days where it's like, no, dude, like if you want to stop posting, they're going to understand and they're going to be on your side. And it's like, I feel like that's a whole conversation I could totally get into just because of like the parasocial relationships you have with your audience when you're online. Like, I feel like I could never seriously or for very long term, like quit social media because like, I feel like I do have just like, I even hate that. Like me feeling like I have some sort of like have to be on social media. I feel like that's so dumb and so out of touch, but it's like, that's how I feel now, right. You know? And that's just because of like the vibe that I guess I've created, you know, it's nobody's fault other than my own. Like I wanted to do this. I want this. And it's like, there are just things you have to deal with sometimes. That's one of those things where I'm like, damn, like social media is it for me. And I kind of can't hop off it unless I want my entire life to change, you know?
Yeah, I guess I can definitely understand that. Mm-hmm. I just was like, yeah, this is for me. I
know. I took it a step further. I know.
I was just like, I'm just taking time off. I'm done. Okay. I'm done. Well, I will say I do really get that because the last 6 months when I was like, I said I was going to take time off. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, I'm going to ghost. I'm going to just
be going to ghost
mode. I'm not say
ghost mode. I'm
not going to say anything. I'm just going to disappear. And then but I didn't like, and I'm someone who has to like plan and like visualize things to be fair.
Typing.
And so I like did that. I said that. And then I would like casually kind of post some content, put stories up, check in the stories and stuff like that. And then I was like, well, then I get mad that I wasn't posting because I had all that time off for like 6 months. I was like, I could probably have made a bigger audience, but I had no heart to do it. But then I would get mad that I wasn't like strategically taking.
But if you don't have heart in it, why even do it?
I totally agree with that. But it was a weird thing. Like this, okay, for instance, this month of February, I have said I'm taking time off. Yeah. And I wrote it in a journal and I wrote why I'm taking time off and I wrote what I'm trying to figure out why I'm taking time off. And I like am intentionally taking time off.
Yes.
That's way different. Like I feel great about not posting.
Yeah. Yeah.
But before I didn't do that. I was just like, oh, I'm going to take time off. I'm just going to disappear. And then it was like,
gonna go ghost.
Yeah, literally. Like what I fucking said, as nerdy as it sounds. And then I'm like, oh, fuck. I hate, like, I'm like beating myself up for not doing stuff and not being busy. And like, it was just like a weird loop of getting that. And so this is like way different. Like this is like I planned PTO with my job, except it's my content. I was like, I'm just gonna take time off. And it's been so far it's only been 11 days. It's been awesome. It's been awesome. And like there was a lot of good like a lot of people, you know, showed love on the story that I put out there that was like, hey, I'm just taking some time off. Like, and that was refreshing. It's like, okay, cool. And I think some people unfollowed me.
It's actually kind of funny that you're saying that because in a very different way, I unfortunately put myself in a box where I feel very free on TikTok, but then I also feel I feel like Instagram is way more serious, as dumb as that sounds. And like I used to love just posting like a monthly dump or just like a random photo that I took. I used to love just being unserious on Instagram. And then the more that my platform grew, the more I was like, no, like this is my job, like blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And then very recently, I just had this collection of videos and photos and things I want to share that are fun to share on my story for 24 hours, but it's like, I want those memories to stick. So I very loudly got on my story and was like, I put myself in a box and I fucking hate it. I'm going to start posting really annoyingly, even more than I already have been. I'm posting dumps, like anything, like I'm going to post whatever the fuck I want to post. And every single person was like, I've wanted to do that too. And I'm going to start now too. And I'm just like, damn, like, I don't know why I put myself in this box kind of thing, but yeah, like the way that you're like, I'm going to take a break. I'm on the opposite end where it's like, I'm going to take a break from being so serious and start posting more silly. You know what I mean?
I get that. I mean, that's what it should be. I think that was the similar thing I was feeling, was like, I was kind of feeling like a chore now. And like, what we were talking about earlier, like, I'm not doing as much festival stuff in general.
Breaks my heart.
And so like, I'm like, well, I still like that music and stuff, but that's not like my whole life anymore. My whole page is like life, live yourself every day. Well, why the fuck would I only do EDM content? And you start doing the other things that I like to do. And that's part where we're taking time off, because I'm like, okay, what does Bab's Life content from a short perspective look like, if that exists?
It does
anymore.
You are a multifaceted human being, as everyone else is. Like, if there's something that you want to explore, like, you should give yourself the space to do that.
No, and what I mean by that is like, I might come back and be like, I just don't want to make short form content anymore. I'm just gonna do this.
Just gonna ghost.
Like, I'm gonna go ghost again, or I'm just gonna podcast. Like, that is something I kind of, again, like, it's funny, talk about like your intuition and like things, and like you kind of know. Like you deep down out, like with everything in life, for the record, like you kind of know the answer. Like if you're on the fence about something, like,
I agree,
you do know it, but you got to block out the noise somehow, which, again, like the noise, the distractions, like of making that decision, whatever it is. Like I'm guilty of that when I come to like a fork in the road. Sometimes I'm like, I'll just push this off until like the night before,
until it needs to be addressed.
Yeah, literally. And so that's like, it's that fucking.
You're so good. Distractions. They're phones are too accessible.
I accidentally left it upright. Fucked my train of thought.
I will say though that mine's gone now too.
Fuck.
It's so good. We'll be back after this message.
Yeah. I think I was saying on the lines of like, you know the answer.
Yes.
On what you want to do, and you just gotta like. And you might know the answer. You might have to work out like how that looks. But that's different than like, I know the answer and I'm just kind of pushing off until I make the answer. You're like, you deep down, you know what you need to fucking do. Yeah.
When it comes to me making a decision like that, my tried and true way, I'll FaceTime Beef, or I'll text her, hey, can I yap? And of course she'll say yes from my best friend. She'll answer. I will just speak about whatever it is I need to speak about, and she'll just sit there and she'll nod, and she'll accept. She'll give me a space to essentially just be loud and talk about it. And in the 15 minutes that we're talking, I will have already found my answer. And just her being there listening to me, like, helps me so much. Like, the only way that I'm able to ever figure out literally anything is if I talk about it out loud. And unfortunately, doing that in the mirror to myself just doesn't cut it for me anymore. I need to have like another human there with me.
I agree, yeah.
So like the easiest way that I'm able to get things through is me just talking about it A to B, talking about all my options. Like, yeah, feedback is important for sure, but it's like, for me, I want to make the decisions that I want to make, and I want to make them because I want to make them. And yes, having outside help helps, but like, you got to make sure that you're doing it for yourself, kind of thing,
Yeah. I could not agree more. Could not agree more. Yeah. There's something about that when you can just talk, you're like, sometimes you just feel better.
Yeah.
You're like,
I love yapping.
I got to be able to talk about it.
Sometimes I feel like I'm like too self-aware when it comes to my issues though, because a lot of the times like I might possibly be causing them, but because like I am getting something different out of it, or because like I just enjoy it, period. Like I feel like sometimes it's just a lot of like, no, dude, you just need to let it go. And like I feel that's a lot of the times what happens with me, of me just being like, okay, cool, like I'm holding on to this thing that's like I'm so tightly that I just need to lay off a little bit. And I feel like that helps me usually a lot.
Yeah. I don't disagree with that. Again, sometimes we're also our own worst enemy in that category a lot of times.
Worst enemy, number one hater, trust me. I feel all of it towards myself, kind of thing. Yeah.
The number one hater thing can be a superpower if you turn it into one.
I don't know how to do that. And I say that, trust me, I say confidently that I am unfortunately my number one hater, while also feeling my most authentic self, which is so sick and twisted, and I wish my brain wasn't as sick and twisted as it was, but it's like I'm my biggest critic at the end of the day. Like my biggest fan, biggest hater, like biggest enemy. Like I'm all encompassing of that, because it's like I never want to. I don't want to be my own yes woman. I want to be able to call myself out on shit sometimes when I feel like I need to be called out on something. Like if I'm making a decision where the back of my head is like, I don't think you should be doing that. Like I want to know that at the end of the day, I'm not just agreeing to everything in my brain to myself. Like I want to make sure that like I'm making the right decision. So like that's where talking about it out loud kind of comes in handy. But usually once I get it all out and I hear myself talking about it, if it's a dumb decision and I hear how stupid it is, I'm like, all right, maybe let's not do that.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. No, that's true. Yeah. We're definitely I keep coming back, like, it's very interesting how intricacies of us and like people work. It's like you said, like, yeah, you could have a moment where you're like, I'm on top of the fucking world, and the next moment you're like, you fucking idiot.
Yeah.
Like,
No, yeah, my brain hates me a lot of the time, and that's another thing too. I feel like I've had to like overcome is like when my brain is not having a good brain day and is just being so mean to myself. Like I have to like look so deep down in myself just to be like, no, dude, like pull yourself the fuck back up. Like what are you doing here? Like the self-hate that I have is so ugly and so horrible, and it's like she gets quieter and quieter every single day, which I'm very grateful for. It means I'm progressing and I'm working towards something that I really want, which is just like pure bliss. Because as much as I can say how comfortable I am, there's always going to be times where I'm feeling insecure. I'm comfortable in my insecurities in the way of like stretch marks, blemishes. Like I worry about my weight sometimes. Like there are things about myself that I'm not feeling 100% about, but as long as like deep in my soul I feel 100% about it, like I know I'll be fine. It's always just a battle between my heart and my brain, I guess.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and sometimes it's just the ego taking over. Like you're too prideful on a situation. Your heart's telling you one thing, but your ego's like, you can't let them fucking get like that.
And I
don't know. At the end of the day, I was saying this the other day too. Like the ego is very important for some things, but when it becomes too big, and turns into too much pride, it can take you down the wrong path, or take you to where you are pissing people off, or you're making your own mistakes and not realizing it because you think you're the shit and stuff like that, and then like kind of. You're like, I don't know why this keeps happening to me. And it's like, well, because you're causing it.
Because you're doing it. Yeah. I'm not going to lie. There's nothing that I dislike more about someone is when, whether they're coming to me about it or coming somewhere publicly or whatever, where they're like, hey, like, you see that rake over there? I keep stepping on it and it keeps hitting me in the face and I don't know why that's happening. Apply that to any life scenario. Why do you keep stepping on it?
Yeah.
Like, why are you continue to bitch about this thing that like you very clearly are causing and just like not getting out of your own way to do? Like, that's what I was saying earlier. Like, sometimes there are things that I really want to do that I keep doing where I'm like, dude, fucking quit.
Yeah.
So it's like, I think that's one of those things where I've really had to take myself out of the almost like abusive relationship with myself of like me putting myself in situations that just like are not ones I should be put into. And it's just like I'm lowering my boundaries and lowering my standards because I think that this thing is better than what I could have. And then I'm like, no, dude, get out,
Same thing, like take a step back, trust that intuition.
Exactly.
The answer's going to be right there.
I will say there are a few situations in my life right now where I want to be 100%, but I almost have to be like 90 just because I don't want to get ahead of myself. And I mean, that can be applied to all things kind of thing. There's nothing wrong with being super, hyper excited about something or vigilant about something, but always taking a step back to get like a little bit of a different perspective is always helpful. For sure.
Absolutely. I agree. Yeah, I'm definitely someone too, like you were talking about the talk. I'm going to tie this into like you saying you got to talk to someone. Sometimes it's like, oh, I wouldn't mind talking to one or two people and get their opinion and then go from there, which and that's good and bad for some things. I want to make that super clear. Sometimes it's better, like you trust your gut, fucking go for it. Other times, agreed, like maybe you need it, maybe if it's a really, really big decision and you're actually like, I should say like, yes, at the end of the day, we know the answer, but there are a few situations where that intuition from the universe like doesn't come. And, you fork in the road scenario where it is a real, and usually it's a way bigger situation.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I guess when I say trust your gut, it's a lot more on the smaller side of things. There can be some big decisions, but I don't know. When you trust your gut, like certain things pop out a lot easier, even if it's a big decision. Sometimes you make those where you're presented two really good opportunities, and that's where you gotta maybe think about that a bit more.
Yeah.
And then something will come, and then your intuition will be like, go with that one.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, yeah.
You will always know what to do. I think you said it earlier too. Like deep down, you know what the answer is. And like being able to trust yourself. If you can't even trust yourself, you can't trust anybody.
Yeah, you gotta be able to sit with it.
Working on the relationship you have with yourself is so important. Like I work on that every single day of my life. And it's like, it's one of those things that I feel like people don't really think about when they think about working on relationships. And it's like, dude, the relationship you have with yourself is the most important one you need to have.
It's literally what's going to translate into your relationships, friends, family, spouse, significant other. Like it will seep in.
Like if you actively and outrightly just like hate and shit on yourself and you're doing that in public with people you care about, it's gonna, like, they're gonna see that, they're gonna feel that, and it's not something that I want anyone to feel, whether it's you or those around you,
Yeah, I'm definitely getting that self-work. I feel like that's something also in the lines of like self-discovery. I think the two go somewhat hand in hand. There's some overlap, but like that's definitely something I'm trying to tap into more, especially this new year and this month of February. I'm like, I'm really trying. I'm calling it a realignment of myself, both mentally and physically, because I'm like, I'm not where I want to be. Not sure where I want to be. I just know I'm not there yet.
Yeah, and that's totally okay.
You know, and that's fine. But like,
that's limbo.
But then also like, what are you? Because there's two things. There's people that don't know any of it. What I just said. People that recognize it and don't do anything about it, which is probably arguably worse. And then there's those that are recognize it and now are like thinking, okay, what can I do about it? And you want to be in that third category, and it takes time. You're not going to just like
for sure.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I was lost for a while, not knowing, and then I realized, I'm kind of lost, and then now I'm working on it. Like there's
we're finding our way,
right? But it's important to be able to recognize that and then kind of go at it because. Again, like full circle moment, like analysis paralysis, like you can kind of recognize it and then get stuck. And you don't want that. You want to be able to start like working through it and whatever it looks like, whatever the situation is, whatever it is. So that's what I'm attempting to do this month. I call it, like I said, my realignment.
Yeah. But you kind of touched on like New Year's resolutions, you know, your realignment. I've put myself in positions where like I do have like New Year's resolutions and I fail them and then I feel like shit about myself. So this year in particular, kind of similar to your realignment, I had told myself that instead of having like New Year's resolutions, it's just to be better. Yeah. Like anything that you feel that you are lacking on that you could be better at, do that. Like I'm not putting myself in this like wrapped up type box. I'm allowing myself to trial and error and fail. And like one of the biggest things about like this be better thing was the apartment I live in currently, I adore it. I love it. I broke my lease on my previous apartment because I hated living there so much. It was not a home. It was a storage unit that I lived in with the rest of my shit and my dog. Like it was not a space that I flourished in. And I was so miserable living there. And I saved up as much money as I could. And I broke my lease and I moved into my new apartment. And I had a week where I was in between jobs. In a good way. I had left a job and then I started a new one. And I gave myself a pretty nice gap so that all I did for an entire week was decorate my home and my space, because a part of my being better was I wanted to be comfortable in the space that I lived in. And so truthfully, if you're struggling with anything and you're looking around yourself and you're saying that your environment is not what you want it to be, I promise you, as hard as it is, having a clean, safe space has done wonders for my brain. Anytime when people are like, oh, drink water, go to the gym, clean your space. And we're all like, yeah, whatever, okay. They're for real. Like they're being honest. And like the more that I realize that like I'm doing better things around in my life, the happier and better that I feel. Like it's insane. I didn't think that happiness was going to come this way just because my living room was clean. You know what I mean? And it's like, that was one of my be better moments. Another one might be better moments is in the morning, same thing. I don't doom scroll. The first thing I do is I take my dog Benny on a very long walk.
Do you leave the phone or do you bring it with you?
I have to bring the phone. Fair enough, because to get into my building, I have to unlock with my phone.
There's a creep. Right after
also
I said
that.
It,
also in case I get stolen.
Literally right after I said it, I was like, wait, no,
you're a boy.
She definitely needs it.
I definitely need it.
She could put it on airplane mode.
But also, and maybe this is something I could start implementing, the first thing I grab is I put on my headphones and I'm walking down the street because I need my music time. But I also I love putting on Super Task in the morning just because of his sound. His very high vibrational, and it's just very, I don't want to say this when people yell at me, but like it's very good elevator music. Very good elevator music. It's very pleasant. It's very happy. It's very, it's just good. So I put that on in the morning to kind of ease my way into the day, and then that's when I'll kind of feel like my music actually gets heavier throughout the day just because I get more like alive and energized. But yeah, like that was something that was important to me, of like not going on my phone, making sure Benny got as much exercise as he could right at the beginning of the day. And also it was just more so like a boundary of mine, just because my job is within social media. Social media is 24/7. So it's like, unless you were setting that boundary of, okay, cool, I'm not doing anything until this time, you're going to be overworked. And I've gotten to that point of being so just, my life was ran by social media, whether it was my own or my professional accounts that I help on, kind of thing. So it was important for me to set that boundary of, okay, cool, I'll talk to y'all at 9. Before then, I'm doing my own thing,
100%.
Being better.
I agree with that. I think that's been a big change. And I'm at the same time as doing that, I'm also trying to make it to where I don't become too much of a hermit.
Yeah.
'Cause a lot of times with, and not actually because of the phone or anything, but just like with the life situations and stuff, like sometimes I get a moment, I'm like, I don't want to talk to anybody. But then that can carry on for like a week or 2 weeks. And it's like, no, like this month, I'm like, I need to make more calls to friends when I'm just driving or something. Like get back to where I was. 'Cause I loved doing that back in the day, and not back in the day.
Back in the
like
day.
Years ago.
No, I totally hear you on that.
Yeah. I like, you have to be more present, I think. I think that's the message of this podcast. Be more present.
Be more present, to be better.
Yeah.
To realign yourself.
we're at like an hour 30, so I think we're gonna.
Yeah, we've been yapping.
We've been yapping. We have a good yap. I thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for inviting me again.
Doing this podcast. This one was fun. I enjoyed it.
Always.
And a little more. We got a little more into it and a little more in depth on things, which I'm very, very happy for. And again, thank you very much for taking time out of your day to come.
Always.
Let people know where they can follow you. I'll also make sure it's in the description, but go ahead. Oh,
goodness gracious. Yeah, you can follow me on Instagram at tatum.bell. Same on TikTok, Tatum Bell with 3 L's. Please don't follow me on Twitter. Follow at your own risk is what I'll say. That is where I just absolutely brain rot vomit. But I'll let you find that one on your own if you want to. I also want to take a second to also, if you're ever looking for any harm reduction information, it is so important. I know that the scene we live in, I know that it's somewhat normalized, and I will never shut up about harm reduction. If you go on End Overdose, you sign up, you take their free class, they will send you free Narcan. Have that shit with you at all times, at every show, any show I ever go to, regardless of me partaking potentially or people around me. I have it on me at all times because you never know what's going to happen. And I just want to make sure that's out there for you guys. Appreciate you.
Absolutely. No problem. I hope you come on again. We can do this again in person. I definitely want more in-person guests in Denver. But I had a great time. Well, maybe next one will be a little more bubbly and fun. But I enjoyed this a lot. So thank you so much once again.
Of course. Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.